A winter storm gripping central PA. We're tracking where it is now and where it's headed next.
Plus, we're live in York County where the frantic search for a missing man is over. How he's doing and who found him.
The roads are a mess. Authorities say there's good reason for that. Live Weather Warn Day coverage starts right now on CBS 21 News at 5. It's a Weather Warn Day here at CBS 21, and this is why. Check it out. Snow falling earlier today, now turning to sleet and freezing rain.
The storm forcing drivers to ditch their cars and triggering backups on many roads as well. Thank you so much for joining us at 5. I'm Jasmine Brooks.
And I'm Rob Hanrahan. Our mission to help keep you safe tonight.
Our crews are fanned out across central PA. Look at this with everybody on deck tonight. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Tom Russell. He's been tracking the storm all day long.
Hey guys, now we're into phase 2 of our storm. Phase 1 was that snow, a pretty good thumping of snow, 4, 5, 6 inches of snow for most of us. And now we're seeing phase 2. That's that transition now to a wintry mix, some sleet and freezing rain. That's the pink that you see here. But I want to point this out. There's a lot of moisture still to come tonight. So as light as the precipitation has been this afternoon, there's a whole nother wave coming tonight, and that's when things could really ice up. So this is what we see on the radar right now. Some very light, mainly kind of a fine mist in many areas. But again, this qualifies as that freezing rain as it freezes on contact. Our winter storm warning still in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow. So conditions are still going to be bad tonight into tomorrow. Let's track that for you as you see that wintry mix tonight. Watch this, changing to plain rain, but even then we're still accumulating ice in spots, that crunchy stuff on top of the snow. By midnight tonight, most of this is tapering off, so overnight it's just kind of a light drizzle or a mist in spots, and then we clear things out and warm up quickly tomorrow. So still be careful this evening with that wintry mix of sleet and freezing rain. That's going to put an icy coating on top of the snow we've already seen. Overnight it's just some light rain, more of a drizzle, and still some icy conditions, but fortunately our temperatures are creeping up, so by tomorrow morning a leftover stray rain shower, then we're clearing things up. We're warming up as the sunshine returns, so a lot of this stuff melting quickly tomorrow, but in the meantime still very hazardous conditions tonight. Guys, back to you.
All right, Tom, thanks. The search for a missing man in York County is happily over. Michael Gorsinger live in Windsor Township with how the man is doing and who found him. Michael.
Rob, certainly not the ending many expected. Just minutes after searchers officially ended the search for 61-year-old Ronald Trout, he was actually found safe and sound sitting on someone's porch. Through some of the harshest conditions, rescue workers searched for 61-year-old Ronald Trout. Almost 20 hours into the search, a happy ending.
I'm just surprised and shocked that he was able to make it through the night.
Nearly a day after walking away from a group home along Locust Grove Road in York County, Ronald Trout ended up here at the Windsor Township building, now getting treatment from EMS.
He looks like he's pretty cold, but the ambulance personnel felt that he would be okay.
It all started around 6:45 last night when Trout was apparently in a disagreement, taking off on foot. Rescuers searching through the night, but to no avail. It appears he made it about 3/4 of a mile, and sometime after 3 a.m., picked a place to wait out the weather.
Picked a house to sit on the porch and waited there until the gentleman came home.
As time moved on, the weather and the conditions began to deteriorate. Over 60 searchers from 18 different departments giving their all, but the ending looked hopeless. Then, just as the search was officially being ended, good news.
We're being out in these conditions all night for probably the past almost 20 hours. I was not expecting that we would have this type of recovery without him.
Good news for a group of people not used to positive outcomes.
It's a good ending to what could have been a tragic story.
Now we're told Ronald Trout suffers from mental health issues as well as diabetes. Now, out of all of this, amazingly enough, they say he was just cold and will need to warm up at some point. Of course, rescuers saying this was a really positive ending to a story that, of course, could have had a much different ending. Live in York County, Michael Gorsinger, CBS 21 News.
Thanks, Michael. And even with reduced speed limits, crashes, dozens of them plaguing central PA today, causing major backups. Check that out. Jesse McDonough live along I-83 tonight in Union Deposit with a look at conditions there. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Jasmine. Hey, Rob. Plows have been out here all day long, and they have gotten the majority of the snow off the road, but that doesn't mean there aren't still concerns here on I-83. We're going to zoom closer so you can take a look here. You see some of that water coming up from those tires. And that's because the roads are still wet, they are still slushy, and as Tom said, we could see some of that freezing rain tonight, making these road conditions dangerous for drivers. Plows were busy clearing the snow off I-83 until one plow driver broke a piece of his plow off and broke down on the side of I-83 approaching Paxton Street. A small crane had to be brought in to remove that piece, during which time the interstate was shut down to one lane and caused a backup. I-83 was also closed in both directions in Cumberland County earlier in the day due to a 6-car crash and backup. I-83 was closed northbound from Fishing Creek to New Cumberland and southbound from New Cumberland to Lewisberry. Again, take a look at that slush and that water out on the road. It is making for slick conditions if you are on I-83 driving right now or later tonight. You do want to be careful. My advice, don't drive on it if you don't have to, and if you do have to, drive slow, because you don't know if you could hit black ice, and again, these roads are wet. Reporting on I-83, Jesse McDonough, CBS 21 News.
All right, Jesse, it's not just Interstate 83 impacted by the winter weather. Roads all over the region are slick and slushy, as Jesse just mentioned. CBS 21's Karina Chung riding on Interstate 81 in Lebanon. Karina, tell us about the conditions there.
Well, Rob, the conditions aren't too bad, but I do want to turn you guys around so you can take a look. You can see that the road is pretty slick and there's water on it. You can see the reflection of the water hitting back on those taillights there. Now, the big concern into tonight is what you actually see on our windshield here. That is ice. We've been driving around here for maybe about an hour, and all of that formed on our windshield, so that's pretty concerning. And then we also have a little icicle, can't take our camera off there, but actually hanging off of our little mirrors, our side mirrors here. But the roads are definitely icing up on the shoulder. You can see there is some ice over there as well, but we'll continue to keep an eye on these conditions. Reporting it live along I-81 in Lebanon County, I'm Karina Chung, CBS 21 News.
Driving restrictions are also in place, forcing truckers to stop in their tracks. CBS 21's Chris Nowlin continues our live team coverage in Carlisle, where trucks are stuck. Chris, what's going on?
Yeah, literally. Let me show you why they're still stuck at this point. Because of those travel restrictions, they can't move. You can see that ice right here on one of these trucks, but take a look at how many trucks are here right now. As far as the eye can see, wrapping around that corner, all the way, if you keep looking down, again, as far as the eye can see. And as of right now, they can't go anywhere until this weather improves.
Yeah, you can feel it, and you constantly have to watch your mirrors.
You got to be careful. You always got to drive defensively.
Trucking for almost 50 years, and Tom Hanks said roads like this are one thing.
Well, if the cars were off the road, it'd be better. But I always know what I'm going to do. I don't know what they're going to do.
He is just one of the hundreds that were stuck here today in Carlisle because of the travel restrictions that involve trucks with light loads. Some say light load or not, they are not risking it.
Because your trailer will start coming around, so you know not to hit your brakes.
The travel ban also includes double trailers, vehicles pulling trailers, RVs, and buses. Truckers agree they are more concerned about the smaller vehicles than their big rigs.
You just gotta drive into the skid so you don't hit anybody else.
Well, and as of right now, I had messaged PennDOT, and there is no word on when those restrictions will end. Live tonight in the Carlisle area, Chris Nowlin, CBS 21 News.
Thanks, Chris. Here are some of the photos that you sent us today. Glad to see so many people enjoying the snow. You can take a look at them. Let's look at a couple more. Do we have any more? Oh, aren't they cute? Oh, cute. Don't forget to safely share your snow day pictures with us. We'd love to share them. Just open your CBS 21 app and click on the Chime In tab to post the pictures, and then we'll use them either here or on our website. Well, you saw PennDOT crews working to keep the roads, main roads, clear and safe.
Coming up, we take you live inside the command center where every highway in the state is under surveillance.
You're about to see yourself.
Well, the snow isn't falling any longer, but winter weather's still leaving a major impact on central PA. You're looking live out on the roads in the Harrisburg area. You'll want to keep it slow. Slush is covering most of our local roadways. You can see this one basically wet, some slush there in the middle. But again, stay off the roads if you can. The winter weather situation still unfolding here in central PA with some freezing rain now.
Yeah. Well, PennDOT crews have been keeping a close eye on the roads throughout the day. CBS 21's Amanda Hoskins continues our live team coverage at the command center in Harrisburg.
Good evening, Jasmine. This is where all the magic happens behind the scenes, where they're keeping an eye on all of the road conditions for you. All of these cameras back here, there's about 103 different cameras all throughout our area that they're monitoring. They also have 69 message boards that they can control. If there's an accident up ahead, they can kind of get into there and control the messages. Now, also, there's a couple cameras. They can zoom in. If there is an incident, they report it. If they are also taking in calls from some of the areas to see if PennDOT is needed in different areas, and they'll send them out that way. They said earlier it was much busier than it is now. The roads are looking good, but there are definitely some cars slipping and sliding that we're seeing in here. From the PennDOT Command Center, I'm Amanda Hoskins. We'll send it back to you guys.
And you can stay ahead of the winter storm on your own by downloading the free CBS 21 weather app. You can find it in your phone's app store by searching CBS 21 WX. Our Weather Warn Day coverage continues.
Coming up, we're live in Lancaster County and Susquehanna Township with a look at the impact of this winter storm.
And we're in phase 2 of our winter storm, which means more of a wintry mix tonight, and that means more icing as the evening progresses. We'll have details on that in your First Warning forecast straight ahead.
You know what that sound means. It's a weather warn day here at CBS 21. A major winter storm leaving a major impact on the region. A live look in York County. I guarantee you, that's just a roadway right there, but that's the story. And we have crews spread out across central PA tonight.
Our team coverage continues with CBS 21's Joel D. Smith. He joins us live in Lancaster County now. So Joel D., what's it like out there?
Well, it's raining right now, guys, and that can be a problem for the roads. I have a dirty snowball here that's going to give you an example of something in just a bit. But first, I want to show you behind me, 283. Moving pretty well right now, isn't it? That was not the case about an hour ago. We have video of that. The reason why? Kind of a fender bender or a fender loser. You see the the bumper on the ground and a disabled tractor trailer really slowing things down here. That can be a major problem. No injuries to report. But when things are slow, all the things on the road, talking about that slush and the salt, can actually build up with the freezing rain and then cause a nasty amount of ice. That did not happen, luckily, but it's something we always look for in these situations. That's what happened back in November, if you remember. Pretty bad back then. All right, back live here, I want to show you something. So we're starting to get that crust over top of everything, and listen to this. Sort of hear that going there, right? And then here's my dirty snowball. I want to show you what's happening. We had about 6 inches of snow here in this area, but on top of it right now, all kinds of ice. So we're keeping an eye on that as we go through the rest of the evening. That's the latest from here, guys. We're going to send it back to you from Lancaster County.
Nothing fun about a dirty snowball. Thanks.
Perfect visual.
Yes.
Perfect visual of what's going on.
Sure is. All right, driving out on some of the roads, side roads especially, can be extremely difficult this evening as road conditions are slushy and snowy. CBS 21's Brendan Kinney now joins us with our team coverage in Susquehanna Township, and you are on a side road, right, Brendan?
Good evening, Jasmine. We sure are. And take a look at the conditions here. Completely snow covered and really difficult for any of your tires to get any traction. And we have that little bit of mist that's coming down that Tom was talking about. I'm going to put the microphone down so you can hear some of that crunch. So we have that glaze over the snow right now here that fell earlier. But here in Susquehanna Township, it does take about 6 hours to plow all the roads. And if you were driving through this area while it was snowing earlier today, you may have been wondering why the snow plows were not out. They actually waited for the snow to end and the freezing rain to start, all to begin plowing. Take a listen to the reason why.
If we take the snow off the roads, the sleet and freezing rain will cause a slippery effect. In other words, it'll freeze once it hits the roads, and the roads will be sort of like a skating rink.
And we have seen a few plows out and about here in Susquehanna Township, but until all these side roads get plowed, it's definitely a good idea to stay inside if you can tonight. We're live in Susquehanna Township, Dauphin County. I'm Brendan Kinney, CBS 21 News.
And now, CBS 21 News First Warning Weather with Chief Meteorologist Tom Russell.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Joel. Dave, both giving you good visuals of that crunchy layer now that's on top of the snow that fell. And impressive snow it was. Check it out as you look at some of these snowfall totals in places like Greencastle, 7.8. Franklin County really getting thumping with the snow. Gardner's and Adams County, 6.8. York at 5.5. Same with Lemoyne. Then as you work your way eastward, less as you got over towards, say, Mount Gretna, 3.1. So pretty good thumping of snow early on. That's the blue that you see here on the radar, and we had that going early on today, a really heavy snow early on. Now we're kind of in the lull, if you will, between that snow, the light precipitation, but we got to get through this wave, and that's the concern tonight, is we have a heavier wave of precipitation this time right as the sun goes down, so then we're dealing with that wintry mix, and therefore the icing is the big concern. This is the saving grace, however, because we see temperatures creeping slowly up, where we've been in the upper 20s all day. Now we're going to see the freezing mark and maybe even slightly above. If it wasn't happening that way, we'd be in for an ice disaster. Instead, we're still in for a very messy night tonight. Winter storm warning continues all the way until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Of course, that includes all of our area, and then you see some of those areas beyond. So still very messy. We lay down the snow, then the sleet, the freezing rain. So there it is, that icing layer. That is a big concern tonight. So we're not quite done yet. As you look ahead here, you see that mix. That's the purple color. Then you see the yellows and greens, which is the plain rain. So as we go through the evening, this is still going to be pretty steady, steadier than it's been this afternoon. But watch what happens by about midnight. It really starts to move east and taper off. So I think overnight it's really just kind of a mist or a drizzle. And by 8:30 tomorrow morning, we're clearing the skies. We're actually back to some sunshine pretty quickly, and we're warming up very quickly. So a lot of melting going on tomorrow. But in the meantime, still dealing with that potential icing. The moderate icing possible here is you have those coated tree limbs, you got the coated power lines, and the ice is still going to be an issue. Travel still an issue as well. We've been showing you some of these areas where we still have that slushy mess. As you noticed, as Brendan was showing you, those back roads not even touched yet. So that's really going to be a mess. Overnight, we're dealing with that drizzle, so it's still rainy. It's still very slick. Tomorrow morning, a couple leftover showers as we clear things out. We're dry through the day, but things are still melting, meaning we still have lots of slush around on some of those roads as well. Hey, here's some good news. How about pushing 50 degrees after we clear things out tomorrow? Some sunshine for the afternoon. Pretty decent day on Friday, 48. So pretty mild above average as we head into the weekend. And look what happens by Sunday, mid and upper 50s. And then we've got some rain coming. So it's going to be soggy for the second half of the weekend. And then a little colder, a little windy as we head into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. So still a ways to go. Again, we're in phase number 2 of this storm. We saw that snow first, guys, and now that wintry mix tonight. So dealing with that this evening. Please be careful out there.
Right there at freezing.
Yeah, but the good news is, Rob, we're inching up instead of down. That's
good.
That's really helpful.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Well, the winter weather not just leaving a major impact on central Pennsylvania.
Coming up, we're going to show you how other cities across the nation are dealing with the snow. A massive winter storm bringing all sorts of snow and sleet to central PA. Here's a live look along Interstate 83. This is in York County, where several inches of the white stuff has fallen today. We have crews all over the region tonight.
CBS 21's Chris Nallen live in Carlisle. And Chris, how are things looking out there right now?
Well, Rob and Jasmine, certainly a sloppy night to say the least, because you can see behind me the roads are very wet, but actual air temperatures are below freezing, so that is a concern. Even though those roads are wet, there will be slick spots. And just to give you an idea what that icing is doing, you can actually see just that thin layer of ice. And take a look at this. This is actually kind of interesting, another kind of demonstration of how icy it is. Take a look at the bush and watch this. You can see all this ice that's kind of just flattened right over this. So again, this is just the beginning of all of this ice that is continuing to coat the area. So that concern is, yes, the roads outside. Do you want to be out there? No. And obviously throughout the night, conditions do deteriorate. Even with treatment, again, there will be slick spots outside, but PennDOT's been all over the place. Let them do their job and stay indoors and stay safe if you can do so tonight. Live from Carlisle, Chris Nallen, CBS 21 News.
Thank you, Chris. Our live team coverage of the winter storm hitting central PA continues.
Crews brave the snow to find a missing man. Coming up, the happy ending police were not expecting.
Actor Jussie Smollett, who you might recognize from the TV drama Empire, has recently garnered headlines after he claimed Trump supporters attacked him just a few weeks ago. Smollett claimed they tied a noose around his neck, showered him with bleach, and yelled racial and homophobic slurs at him. However, this reported hate crime appears to be a hoax. After Chicago Police Department officials viewed hundreds of hours of tape, questioned Smollett's neighbors, and the brothers who he claimed attacked him, they have yet to find any evidence to substantiate Smollett's original claims. In fact, the brothers, one of whom is an Empire extra, detailed just how Smollett paid them to orchestrate and even rehearse the incident. As a native Chicagoan and a member of the Black community, I could not be more upset. This revelation is disturbing on many levels. Not only is the Chicago Police Department spread thin, but this hoax ultimately casts unnecessary doubt on real hate crime cases. According to the FBI in 2017, over 7,000 hate crime incidents were reported, over 1,000 of which were based on sexual orientation bias. Racially biased crimes are also on the rise, with 58% of all hate crimes being racially driven. Let's get to the point. Jussie Smollett is not a hate crime victim. He's wasted valuable resources and taxpayer dollars. But moreover, he shed doubt on many of the very real threats and attacks members of both the Black and LGBTQ community face every day. He should face prosecution.
Hey, Amisha. While we agree that the apparent Jussie Smollett hoax is disgusting, you're ignoring the complicity of the left and of many in the media in this case. Coming up, my thoughts on the Jussie Smollett mess.
The views expressed by commentators do not necessarily reflect the views of this station.
It started as snow, now sleet and a wintry mix are falling in central PA. A winter storm warning in effect until 6 a.m.
The massive storm is why we are declaring a weather-worn day. Our mission is to keep you safe. Our chief meteorologist, Tom Russell, has been following the story. He joins us with the latest. Tom.
Yeah, pretty impressive snowfall. We were seeing snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour, so it came down hard and fast. And then once that ended, it's been kind of a lull during the day here. But next wave is coming tonight. I call it phase 2, and that just means there's more precipitation coming. This time, though, as the sun goes down, the timing here could give us some icy conditions. So it's been fairly quiet through the better part of the afternoon. The blue is that snow. Then we've had this little bit of pink here, but this is the wave that I'm talking about. So this heavier wave of precipitation coming in here during the evening hours. So don't let your guard down. Again, not a lot showing up here on the radar, but you can see some of that pink. That's that precipitation that's either falling as sleet or some freezing rain. The stuff that falls as liquid but freezes on contact. Here is your winter storm warning. As Jasmine mentioned, this still continues all the way till 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we'll slowly see some improvement overnight, but it's still going to be messy even into tomorrow morning. So this is the precipitation that you see. Here comes our next wave that we're talking about. So still some heavier rain. This is at 8:30 tonight, so that ice still could collect. It does taper off pretty quickly, so by midnight tonight, I think we're only dealing with a little bit of mist or drizzle, and then we clear out very quickly through the overnight. So here's what to expect. Still messy this evening with that wintry mix of sleet and freezing rain. Therefore, icing still a concern here as we go through the overnight. Icy conditions may be lingering into tomorrow morning, a leftover rain shower, and then we're clearing things out. And not only that, we get back to sunshine and temperatures pushing 50 degrees tomorrow. So big improvement. In the meantime, please be careful tonight. Jasmine, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Tom. Despite awful conditions, the York County man is alive after going missing for nearly 20 hours. CBS 21's Michael Gorsinger is live in Windsor Township with a massive effort that went into finding him. Michael.
Jasmine, over 60 searchers from 18 different departments searched for 61-year-old Ronald Trout all day long through the night. Now, York Area Regional Police behind me were the ones head manning the investigation, and with a lot of hard work and a little good old-fashioned good luck, they actually found him alive. Now, it was intense searching, including ATVs, canines, and old-fashioned manpower that search hours for the 61-year-old. It started about 6:45 last night when Trout, who suffers from mental health issues, walked away from his home. Overnight and into the morning, police searched the area. Then around 8 o'clock this morning, the search ramped up just as the snow rolled in. For hours, volunteers had no luck. Just as the search was being officially called off, he was found by a nearby neighbor sitting on a porch. He was treated by EMS personnel, but the York Area Regional Police Chief says he looks to be cold, but in good condition. Now, police do think that at some time after 3 a.m. when the person that found him actually left for work, and before the snow started at 8 a.m. was when Trout found his way to sit on a porch. Again, he was cold when he was found. However, he does look like he's in good condition. He does suffer from some mental health problems as well as diabetes, so he's going to be checked out for all those things. Live in York County, Michael Gorsainer, CBS 21 News.
All right, Michael, I-83 in Harrisburg, a hot spot for accidents during today's storm. CBS 21's Jessie McDonough witnessed some of the accident cleanup today, and she joins us live on I-83 with the latest on the road conditions. Jessie, what are you seeing?
Rob, the majority of the snow has been plowed off of I-83, but here is what is remaining. This slushy, wet kind of mess that's left behind by all the snow that was plowed. Now, it's also pretty wet down on the roads. We're going to zoom down here on the road so you can see just how wet the roads are. And as some of these cars drive past, you're going to see the water that's kicked up by those tires. And that's part of the reason that you want to slow down as you're traveling on I-83. Again, it is a hot spot for accidents. There were several accidents today. A 6-car pileup here on I-83. That was in Cumberland County. There was also a plow that had a mechanical issue. A small crane had to come to help remove part of that. So it was a pretty busy day for emergency crews today here on I-83. And last week it was the same situation when the storm hit. A lot of incidents here on I-83. So you want to take your time. If you have to travel on I-83, make sure you're taking your time and driving slowly so you can stay safe. Rob, Jasmine?
Thanks, Jessie. Well, today's snow means a day off for most kids across Central PA, and CBS 21's Brian Sheehan caught up with some of them and their parents having fun earlier today. Brian, so the parents are taking advantage of the snow too, right?
Yeah, they are, Jasmine. Take a look. We're on Italian Lake right here, really turning out to be quite a beautiful night. This picturesque scene now that the snow has stopped. But with schools and daycares closed for the day, many parents found themselves scrambling for last-minute plans, ultimately deciding to just stay home and play in the snow. These kids in Susquehanna Township are taking advantage of a good old-fashioned snow day, where you can find them doing what else but
playing in the snow. We're playing and pushing each other and throwing snowballs at each other.
Even the neighborhood dog got in on the fun. Schools in the area closed for the day, and many daycares like this one in Harrisburg shut down by noon. That meant Tamaya's dad, Tim Brown, was forced to use a vacation day of his own so someone could stay and keep an eye on her while she played in the neighborhood.
I would say it's tough. I mean, you have to do what you have to do. I mean, the kids are the kids, the schools are closed. You don't have any control over that. It's just fortunate to have a job where you have those days to use, and, you know, if you have to exercise them, if it's for the kids and not for yourself, then so be it.
Michael Miller found himself in a similar work situation earlier as well. His son Marshall's daycare closed today, but luckily for him, there was no need to take a sick day.
Fortunately, my job's pretty flexible, so I was able to just make the call that we'd stay home and hang out and have a nice snow day together.
Now, after meeting those kids and those parents there, I'm sure they're probably back home right now inside in the warmth, enjoying some hot chocolate. But most tell me they're ready to head back to work and school tomorrow. I'm sure their parents and parents all over the area are ready to send their kids back to school for the rest of the week. Live in Susquehanna Township, Dauphin County, I'm Brian Sheehan, CBS 21 News.
Thanks, Brian. The governor's scheduled stop in Perry County for the listening tour on the legalization of recreational marijuana has been postponed, of course, due to weather. An announcement will be made for a rescheduled date for that event. All tour stops are open to the public. You can find a full list of closings for tonight by going to CBS21.com and, of course, at the bottom of your screen. And you can stay ahead of the winter weather on your own by downloading the free CBS 21 weather app. Find it in your phone's app store by searching CBS 21 WX. This storm impacting an estimated 20 million people.
Next, to look at how the rest of the country is coping.
And we want to keep getting... Oh, stop it right now. We want you to keep sending us these adorable pictures. We absolutely love them of you, your animals, your kids enjoying the winter weather. You can chime in on the CBS 21 News app. Thank you so much for sending.